Hello dear students, welcome to Photoshop Essential class. If you were planning to learn Adobe Photoshop for graphics design and if you never opened Photoshop before, or if you are absolute newbie, in that case this is a perfect class for you because we will learn Photoshop from the very beginning. So this is totally a beginner level class, and from beginning level you will learn till to advanced level. So if you are absolute newbie and if you are planning to learn Photoshop from the beginning, this is a perfect class for you. So let's take a look what you will learn from this class. You will learn about the interface of Photoshop, you will learn about the menu and tools, layers, vibrance and saturation, hue and saturation, how to change color of the image using hue and saturation, and how to change a specific color by using hue and saturation, as well as you will learn about all the tools inside the adjustment panel or adjustment tab. So once you will learn about the use of adjustment tools, you will be able to make beautiful images because most of the tools are associated with the adjustments tabs. So we will cover all the tools of adjustments tab. You will learn about the gradient, you will learn about the stroke, bevel and emboss. You will learn about the content hour tool. This is a magical tool of Photoshop. You will learn about the photo blur. You will learn about the drop shadow. You will learn about the spot healing from the skin, and many more lessons you will learn from this class. So this is a project-based class. So what you will learn from the lesson, you will have an opportunity to practice along with the classes. And for helping you, I have given the resource file along with this class, so you can get the materials when you will start practicing. And during learning, if you face any issue, you just have to knock me for your support. You just have to ask me the question where you're stuck, and I'm always there for you to help you out. So what are you waiting for? I'm expecting you to have you in my first lesson of this Photoshop class. Hello dear students, welcome to the beginning lesson of Adobe Photoshop, and in this lesson we are going to learn about the interface of Photoshop. So let's start from the beginning. So you can see in my screen that I have opened the latest version of Photoshop, and I hope you already have the Photoshop installed on your computer, and you can see that this is our opening interface. So Photoshop works in two ways. You can create a new document and then you can start editing with the document, or you can open any existing image or existing task that you already work with the Photoshop, and therefore extension is effect. So if you have any existing task that is completed by the Photoshop software, you can open it from the opening interface, or you can open an image for starting editing, or you can create a new document, then you can start editing. So if you want to create from the very beginning or from the root, in that case you have to create a new file. Or if you want to edit any image directly, in that case you have to use this open option. So I'm going to show you in both ways. So let's start with the new file option. Suppose you are going to create a design from the beginning, therefore you have to click the new file option. So let me click in this new file option, and then a pop-up will appear. This is called a pop-up, and this is really an amazing feature of Photoshop because in this pop-up, Photoshop makes your task more easier than before. If you compare between the oldest version of Photoshop, in there you not had the presets for the creating the document, but in the latest version they already given a number of presets. You can see here at top of the pop-up like the recent, saved, photo, print, art and illustration, web, mobile, film and video. These are tabs, and these tabs are for presets. So let me show you with the default Photoshop size. So this is a preset for creating a document. That means in this preset, there are different type of height and width, resolution, orientation, color mode, background content are provided with the preset, and different type of preset had different type of size, orientation, background content, resolution. So if you consider the default Photoshop size document, this is our default Photoshop size, and here is the value. So you can see here that the width of this default Photoshop size document is 7 inches, and you can see here we have a field, this called the inches, and the height is 5 inches. And in orientation, you can see here we have two things, landscape and vertical. So this is the default orientation, but if you need to change, you can change the orientation from here. If you need the landscape or if you need the vertical, you can assign it from this orientation option. Okay, and here is the resolution, and this is the default Photoshop size. That's why it's provided with the inches. But if you need in pixel, in that case you can do it manually. So for changing the width and height, here is the inches option, and instead of inches you can use these pixels. There is a centimeter, millimeter, points, and picos. But this is a default Photoshop size, that's why I'm just keeping these things. Okay, the next things is background content. What will be the document background color? So you can see this is the default color, that is white. But if you need to put some different color or some kind of transparent background, you can have the option. So therefore you have to click in here, and from here you can select the background color. So you can see that right now we have the white background color, but instead of white, if you need to use the black one, you can use the black one. If you need the background specific color, you can also set these things from here. If you need the transparent background, you can have this one. Okay, so this is just a preset settings. Okay, now let me go to the photo tab. And once you will click the photo tab, you will have different type of preset, and all the presets are relevant with photo editing. So you can see that we have another landscape. This is our default Photoshop size preset, and here is called the landscape. And you can see the size of this landscape is called 3:2, width is 3 inches and height is 2 inches. Okay, and all these things are in landscape orientation. But if you need portrait orientation, in that case you can have this presets. So let me select this one, and you can see here the width is 5 inches and height is 7 inches. And once you select this 5:7 inches, the orientation is changing. This is the landscape orientation. When I'm selecting this one, the orientation is changing here, and when I'm using this portrait, the orientation is changing in here. Okay, so different presets have different sizes. Now let's move to the print tab. Suppose you are going to write an application, or you are going to design a tabloid, or you are going to making some kind of legal document. All these things are available in here. So this is the default size for letter, and the size of this preset letter is 8.5 inches for width and 11 inches for height, and orientation is portrait. So this is the tabloid preset, and you can see here height is bigger than the letter, and height is 17 inches and width is 11 inches. So let me show you a different preset like this A3. This A3 preset are counted with the millimeters. So you can see here that width counted for this A3 preset is 297 millimeter and height is 420 millimeter, and the orientation is portrait. So I hope you got the idea. Now let's move to the art and illustration tab. And this is really important because in the art and illustration tab, most of the time inches and pixels are widely using. So you can see here that we have 1000 pixel grids. This is a preset, and you can see 1000 pixel for width and 1000 pixel for height. That means a square shape will be created, and you can see the background content as well as white for every preset. So if you want to create some kind of postcard, in that case you can use this postcard preset, and this is a preset for default postcard, and this postcard preset are used by the inches, so 4 inches in width and 6 inches in height. But if you were considering to create a poster instead of postcard, you have to know the difference between postcard and the poster. So if you were looking to create some kind of printable poster, in that case you can use this preset, and this poster are bigger in size than postcard. So the postcard is 4 inches in width and 6 inches in height, and the poster is 18 inches in width and 24 inches in height. So this poster is much bigger than this postcard. So I hope you got the idea. Now let's move to the web tab. So when you will design for the website, then you have to follow this web tab, and in this web tab you will have different type of presets, and all these presets are relevant with the web. So you can see here some preset like MacBook Pro, like iMac, like websites, minimum, medium, large, and web most common presets. So let me show you with the web most common preset. So this is a preset for designing for the elements or for some kind of styles for the website. So what is the width? Width is 1366 pixel in width and 768 pixel in height, and orientation is landscape. Basically, most of the web presets are oriented with the landscape orientation. Okay, so if you consider that you will create a large design for website, you can consider this web large preset, and these presets are widely using. It's one of the popular preset nowadays. So what is the size? The width is 1920 pixel and height is 1080 pixel. This called 1080 pixel in size of web. So let's move to the mobile tab. Inside this mobile tab, you will have lots of presets. Suppose you need to design some kind of styles for iPhone, you will have different type of presets in here. If you need to design or styling some beginning styles for the Android, you can have this preset. If you need to work for the smartwatch, this is one. If you need to design for some kind of Microsoft Surface, here is the presets. So you can see the preset of Microsoft Surface, that's about 2160 pixel in width and 1440 pixel in height, and the orientation is landscape. So there are different type of presets are available, and all these presets are relevant with the smartphone or the mobile device. And you can see we have the final tab that's called the film and video. So if you want to work with the film types or video types, actually this is not for video editing, this is for the designing. So if you want to design for specific, for some kind of videos, like you can create some of the banner for the videos, some kind of thumbnail for the videos. So the video related design, when you will create, you can consider this film and video tab, and you can see there are lots of presets are available. Like this is one of the default preset, and this one of the most widely using nowadays for a video and film purpose, and the preset size is 1920 pixel in width and 1080 pixel in height, and the orientation is landscape. But if you need to create a design for 2K, you can consider this 2K preset, and you can see here the 2K preset size counted with the pixels, and the size is 2048 pixel for width and 1080 pixel for height, and the orientation is landscape. So when you will work with 4K, 8K, you can pick this preset. Like this is UHD TV, that means Ultra HD TV, and this is counted as the 4K preset, and here is the size 3840 pixel for width and 2160 pixel for height. So you can consider this preset as a large document size, and this one is much bigger than this one because you can consider 4096 pixel in width and 2160 pixel in height. And let's consider for the 8K resolution. Let me select this one, and you can see here that 8K resolution have much bigger document size than 4K, and you can see here this 7680 pixel in width and 4320 pixel for height. And if you are using this kind of preset, please make sure that you have a good configuration computer that you are using, because when you will use this type of large size document and when you will start editing, your computer must have some good configuration, RAM, processor, as well as a GPU. Okay, so we learned all the preset. So I'm going to use this default Photoshop size. But if you need to create a custom design, you just have to put the value in here. You just have to type the value, and you have to declare what will be the width parameter, inches or pixels or centimeter, whatever you need. You can select it from here for creating some kind of manual document. And here is the width field, here is the height field, here is the resolution field, and here is all the things for background content. And one more thing I need to tell you, that is the color mode. So basically RGB, red, green and blue color, this is a standard, as well as there are some more styles like CMYK, grayscale, bitmap, lab color. All these things are available in here. So most of the times RGB color is using commonly. I'm going to tell you the difference between the grayscale, RGB color, CMYK, lab color. All the difference I'm going to tell you in the color lesson. So the default color mode is about RGB color, so you can put these things in here. So once everything is done, you just have to select it and then you have to click create. So you can see now that we have created a document, and this is our interface. And this is our interface. So let me introduce with the interfaces in here. So at top we got the menu bar. All these things are the menu. This called all these menus. At right side we got some tabs like the properties tab, this called the layer tabs, and we got the color tabs in right side. And in left side we have number of tools. So these tools are essential when it will work in Photoshop. So these are the toolbar, these are the menu bar, and at right side we got different type of color tab, properties tab, layer tab. Or you can consider this layer panel, properties panel, color panel. So this is the interface of the Photoshop, and we learned about the how to create the document and how to run the Photoshop with the created document. And our next lesson we are going to be introduced to with the menu as well as the tools. And till then I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to see you in our next lesson. Hello dear students, welcome once again, and now we are going to learn about the menu and the tools. So you can see here in our Photoshop at top left side we got the menu, this is called the menu bar, and at left side this is called the toolbar. So there are lots of tools are available, and every tools have different type of uses. And at top we got the menus. So you can see here this is the file menu, edit menu, lots of menus are here, and we are going to be introduced to about the menu and the toolbar. But in some tools and in some menus we have to skip in this lesson, because some tools have a wide range of uses. Therefore, we have to make sure that we are learning properly, and in this lesson we may not able to completely teach you about the tools. Therefore, some tools will be skipped in this lesson and we will create a different lesson for learning about the use of the tools. Okay, so let's start learning tool first. So you can see here at first we got the move tool, and this move tool is using for moving an image or any selection or any layer. So therefore we have to open an image in here. I already given a resource file along with this curriculum and lessons, so you must have to download that resource file, and then you will have all the relevant image that we will use for learning. And for opening the image, let me click the file menu. Here is the file menu, and from there I have to click this open option for opening my resource file, and I'm going to open an image. So this is my resource file, and from here I want to use this pixels and this rose flowers. So you just have to select it and then you have to click open. Okay, you can see here that the beautiful flower is opened in here. And one more thing I need to tell you, that is, when I used that open option, we created this untitled one, this document, in our last lesson. But when I used open option, then this flower is opened in a new tab. That means this flower is not opened in this tab. So this is the open option. So you can move this flower in here by drag and drop option. And if you want to place that same image from the resource file in this present tab, then how you will do that, you need to know this first, because this is really important. So I'm closing this image. So right now I don't have any flower, but I don't want to open this red rose in a new tab. I want to open that same flower, or I want to place that same flower in this present tab or inside this untitled one document. And therefore we have to use this place embedded option from the file menu. So here is the file menu, and then you will get this place embedded option. So let me click in this place embedded option. Then the pop-up will appear, and inside your resource file you just have to select this pixels Anna, this image, and then you have to click place. Okay, now you can see that the flower placed properly inside the same document, and it's not opened in a new document, and this is what I'm looking for. So I hope you got the difference between this file menu and open option and place embedded option. If you use this open option, your image will be opened in a new tab. If you use this place embedded option, then the object or image or the element will be placed inside the present document. So this is the difference between open and place embedded. Okay, so what we got the image in here, and you can see this image is not placed properly in here because still we have not committed the perform. So for committing perform, you can press enter button from your keyboard, or you can click in this tick mark, and this tick mark is using for committing transform option. So I'm clicking this tick mark, and now it's placed properly. Okay, so the tools we are talking about, that's the move tool, and the shortcut key for the move tool is V for violin. So what is the use of move tool? So you can see here at top we have some empty spaces. So if you want to place this flower at top to cover the empty space, then you have to use this move tool. So you just have to use your mouse. You have to press left button of your mouse. It's called some kind of drag and drop method. You have to press and hold the left button from your mouse, then you have to move your mouse according to your needs. So now you can see that the image is placed at top and the white space is covered. So now if you want to move this flower at bottom, in that case you have to follow the same process. So using this move tool, you can move the image at bottom. If you need to place this image outside of the document, then you can do that also. You have to press and hold the mouse, and then you can move anywhere inside your document. So you can keep in here, you can keep in here, you can keep in here, you can keep in here. Okay, so I hope you got the idea about the use of move tool. Now we are going to learn about rectangular Mercury tool. This is our second tool. Okay, so if you need to make any selection, then you have to use the rectangular Mercury tool, and the shortcut key is M. M for Manila. Suppose you need to make a selection inside the image, then you can use this Mercury tool. This is called the Mercury tool actually. And now we are using that rectangle shape. So if you use the rectangle shape, you will have the rectangle selection. So you can see that I make a selection in here, but instead of rectangle shape, if you want to select a round shape, in that case you have to right click with your mouse in here, then you will have the more option like elliptical Mercury tool, single row Mercury tool, single column Mercury tool. So as I was saying, for a round shape you can use this elliptical Mercury tool. Then you will have a circle selection. So this is not a shape, this is not any line, this is just a selection. If you need to make a selection for any specific area for coloring or for some kind of editing, in that case you have to use this rectangular Mercury tool, elliptical Mercury tool. So this is just for selecting. So I hope you got the idea. Okay, now we got lasso tool. So you can see here, this is our lasso tool and the shortcut key is L. L for lion. So with the elliptical Mercury tool, we are able to make just a circle selection. With the rectangular Mercury tool, we're able to make a selection just a rectangular Mercury shape. But what you will do if you need to make a selection for the every leaves or the petals of flower, in that case how you will do that? You cannot make a perfect selection of the petals of the rose by using this rectangular Mercury tool. Suppose you need to make a selection for these petals. So when I used this Mercury tool, I got some extra area selected. But if you need to make a perfect selection, in that case you have to use this lasso tool. So let me use this lasso tool, and with the lasso tool you can make any selection as you want by using your mouse. So in every angle you are able to make a selection, or in every angle you are able to move your mouses. That's not possible with rectangular Mercury tool or elliptical Mercury tool. That's why for making a selection for any specific angle or any specific degrees, you have to use this lasso tool. Let me show you. I am going to make a selection for these petals, especially the lines. Therefore, I am placing my mouse cursor in here, and then you have to press and hold, and you have to make or move your mouse where you need to make a selection. Okay, so you can see I made a selection with the lasso tool, and this is not possible with the Mercury tool. But when you will use this lasso tool, you will have to use the mouse properly, because you have to press and hold and you have to move the mouse. That's depend on your needs. And with this technique you may not get the exact, or you may not get the expected result. So what you will do, you can use that polygonal lasso tool. So if you right click in here in this lasso tool option with your mouse, then you will have more two option along with the lasso tool. So using a polygonal lasso tool, you will be able to press and release button using the mouse. But with the lasso tool, you will not be able to press and release. You have to press, and along with the single press, you have to move your mouses, and this really a little complicated. But if you need to make a selection with press and release, then it will be easier for you. Let me show you. I'm starting my point from here. Here I am releasing one, 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 and this polygonal lasso tool specially create a polygonal line. So you can see the result in here. Now let me make a selection properly. So I am pressing, releasing, pressing, releasing, pressing, releasing, pressing and releasing, pressing and releasing, pressing and releasing. Okay, you just seen that I make a perfect selection that's I need, and I used press and release method for making a selection. And this polygonal lasso tool is really one of the greatest tool for making the selection. Okay, the next one is magnetic lasso tool. This is one of the outstanding selection tool. So with lasso tool, what you have to do, you have to press and hold and move your mouse cursor. With polygonal lasso tool, you have to press and release. You have to use the press and release method. But with this magnetic lasso tool, you don't have to use all these things. You just have to move your mouse along with the borders, or the depends on your needs which part you are going to make a selection. You just have to make your mouse move your mouses to the subject or to the object, then it will make a selection automatically. Let me show you. I am pressing my first click in here, or first selection, and I'm moving my mouse to these petals, and you can see it's making an automatic selection. I'm not clicking anything in here, I'm not pressing and releasing, I am not holding my mouse cursor, I'm not pressing, I'm holding, nothing else I'm doing. I am just moving my mouse cursor to my expected areas. So you just seen it's working as like a magnet. That means it's automatically make a selection with the area. And you just seen, and here is the result of selection. And this is the use of magnetic lasso tool for making the selection. Okay, now we are going to learn about the quick selection tool, object selection tool, and magic wand tool. These tools are also using for making selection. Actually, when you will work in Photoshop, you have to make selection for number of times. When you will edit any image, or when you will start in creating a new design, you have to press, you have to select, you have to use different type of selection tool for number of times. That's why you need to know which tools is working for which part of selection, and that's really very important. Okay, so as I was saying that we will using this object selection tool. So I'm going to use this object selection tool, and here is the object selection tool, and the shortcut key of object selection tool is W. Okay, suppose I need to make a selection for entire flower. So what you have to do, you just have to make a selection till here, and you have to wait a little. So you can see here is the result. We got an automatic selection of entire flower, but sometimes it may not provide you the actual selection. You can see here that it's have some extra selected part. So therefore it may not provide you 100% accuracy, but yeah, you can work with this object selection tool, and this extra selected area you can reduce it from the selection, and therefore you have to use quick selection tool. So if you right click in here, then you will have this quick selection tool. So I want to deselect this selection, and therefore you have to press Ctrl and D for dear as a shortcut key if you are using Windows, and if you are using Mac you have to press Command and D button for deselect this, or you can use this select menu, and from there you can use this deselect option. So you can see that the selection is gone from here, and now I'm going to use this quick selection tool. This is my quick selection tool. Okay, so using this quick selection tool you will be able to select a specific area, and this is one of the greatest selection tool for making selection, because with this quick selection tool you can add, you can reduce, add or deduct whatever you need. You can do it only through the quick selection tool, and you can see here this is the plus sign and this is the minus sign. So this is add to selection and this is a subtract from selection. Using the subtract from selection you can reduce the unwanted selection. So now you can see we got a perfect selection. So I hope you got the idea how these things are working, and this quick selection tool is one of the perfect tools for making the selection. Okay, now let me show you this magic wand tool. This is also using for selecting a wide range of area. So let me use this magic wand tool, and if you need to make a range of area for making selection, you just have to click with your targeted area. So you can see here is a leaf. So I'm clicking here and you can see it's make a selection, and when you will click it will call only the green part. So if you consider in red part, you can see here is the area, here is the area, here is the area. But when you will make a selection of any specific area, and along with that if you need to make some more area to select, you have to press shift button from your keyboard and then you can select more. You can see that along with single selection I am increasing the area of selection. But if you only press ons without pressing shift button from your keyboard, if you just use your mouse and click ons, then what you will have the result? You will have the result in here, like you will get just a single selection. So this is the use of magic wand tool in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, the next tool is crop tool. So this is our crop tool, but make sure before using the crop tool you are deselecting the selection, because if you kept the selection, this crop tool will work with the selected part only. Therefore, you have to go for the select menu, and here is the deselect option. Now our selection is gone. So here is the crop tool. Okay, so once you need to crop any part from image, in that case you have to use the crop tool. So you can see at top we have some blank space, at the bottom we have some blank space, and I don't want to keep these blank spaces. I want to delete it, and therefore you have to use the crop tool. So let me click this crop tool, then you will have the pointer, so you can set the area where you will use to crop or use to keep. Suppose I don't want to keep this blank area at top, therefore I am going to select till here. So make sure inside this selected area the part will remain, and the area that will be not placed inside these areas or these selections, that will be cropped. That means you can see here I kept only the flower part inside this selection. I skipped the top blank area and bottom blank area. That means inside my selected area all the image will be remain, and rest of the part will be cropped. So once the selection is done, you can press enter button from your keyboard, or you can click in the tick mark for cropping. Now you can see that the extra area just deleted. So this is how you will use the crop tool in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, the next tool is frame tool, but I'm going to skip this frame tool right now because this frame tool have an interesting technique to use, and it's required a different lesson. That's why I'm not going to use the frame tool right now. The next tool is about eyedropper tool. Actually, this eyedropper tool is using for identifying the color of an image. So when you will place any image to your document, and if you need the color, you can use this eyedropper tool. So let me click in this red petals, but before that you need to know what is the present color. So you can see here, this is our brush color actually. So if you need to use brush for painting or for drawing a line, now the black color will be used. But if you need to paint with a different or a specific color, in that case you have to use this eyedropper tool to identify the exact color. Suppose right now we have the black color, but if you place the mouse cursor to the petals and click here, you can see the color is just changed. The actual color that's used for the petals, that's set it up in here. So now if you use the brushes, then you will have this red color for drawing. Here is the green color. You can see it's placed in green. This is the black color. You can see in background we got the black color, and this is what we got. So I hope you got the idea how this eyedropper tool is working. And the next tool is this spot healing brush tool. This is an amazing tool. But before that, learning spot healing brush tool, let me just tell you, this tool is you can consider this tool as a magical tool, because this tool can remove any spot, and I'm going to take a different lesson for teaching you about the spot healing brush tool. The next one is just brush tool. So this is the tool what I was talking about. So if you need to draw any line, in that case you have to use this brush tool. But you can see once I just clicked this brush tool, my icon got locked. That means I'm not able to draw any line in here because my image layer is not rasterized. I have to rasterize these things. And this is the part about layer, and we are going to learn about the layer in next lesson. But before that, I am just showing you how to rasterize the layer. You can see here, this is our layer. So you just have to right click with your mouse, then you will get this rasterize layer option. And now you can draw any line in here. Okay, so you just seen that I drawn a line using the brush tool. And if you need to increase the size of brushes, you have to click in here. This is the option for the brush size, and you can increase the size. And then you can see here, when I used 73 pixel, my mouse cursor, now it seems bigger than before. Let me draw a line. So you've just seen that I drawn a line. So you've just seen I just drawn a line. So if you need to change the brush color, you just have to click in this option, and then a pop-up will appear, and from here you can select any color that you want to use for drawing a line. Like you need to draw some kind of yellow color, so you just have to click in the yellow bar. Then here is the color depth. So if you need a strong yellow color, you can pick it up from here and you can click OK. Now if you draw a line, then yellow line will be available. So this is the way how I will draw a line, or how I will draw use of brush, using the brush for drawing line or some kind of paintings. Okay, the next two tools we are going to skip, that is clone stamp tool and a history brush tool, because these two tools have a wide range of uses. But yeah, we can use this eraser tool. So you can already have the idea from the name of this tool, that is eraser tool. Yes, you are right. For erasing any object from the image, you have to use the eraser tool. So you can see I have very small size of brush or very small size of eraser. So you just have to increase the brush size. So here is 51 pixel, and you can see I have a large brush in size. Okay, so now let me draw a line. So you can see that the line I used in here, that's for reducing or for erasing the image. So you can see this is our background layer. That means the document we have created that have a white background, and we placed this rose flower image inside the background. But with the use of eraser tool, we are erasing the images, and we got the background, or you can consider these things as a document background. So for erasing any object or any subject or any selection, you can use this eraser tool. Okay, next one is gradient tool, and I'm going to skip this gradient tool, this blur tool, and it's not only blur tool. Along with that blur tool, you will have the sharpen tool, smudge tool, and we have the dodge tool, burn tool. You can see here, this is the dodge tool, burn tool, sponge tool. All these things have a different uses, and I'm going to take a different lesson, because this dodge, burn, and sponge tool are using for retouching the image, and that's really important. I will take a different lesson for retouch. And this is the pen tool. I'm going to use a different lesson for using this pen tool, because this pen tool have one of the outstanding uses for making selection, for making shapes, for making objects, and many more things. And I'm going to show you in a different lesson about the use of pen tools. Okay, the next tool is type tool. So with this type tool, you will be able to type a text. So inside the type tool, you will have horizontal type tool. So basically this horizontal type tool is widely using, but if you need the vertical type tool, you can use this vertical type tool. Here is a vertical type mask tool, horizontal type mask tool, but the wide range of uses is horizontal type tool. So let me select this horizontal type tool, and for writing any text, you have to use this type tool. So let me use this type tool, and let me click in here, and you can see there is a demo data. So as an example, I'm writing nerding IO. Okay, so you can see here that nerding IO I have written in here using the type tool, and you can see that the text is here, and we have different type of uses in here, like this option are for changing the font, and this option is increasing or for changing the size. So if you need to increase the size, you can use it. If you need to decrease the size, you can use it. So let me show you how you will increase or decrease the size of the text. So you have to make a selection. So I just make a selection of my text, and now I'm going to use this option for increasing my size. Right now I have 12 point of my text size, but I'm going to use this 36 point, and now you can see now my text size is much bigger than before. So for changing the text font, you have to make a selection. Then here is the option for changing the text font. So if you click here, the font you have installed on your computer, you will have all these things in here. So depend on your needs and depend on your choices, you can grab it from here. So as an example, I'm going to pick this Arial font. So I'm picking this Arial font. So this is my Arial font output. But you can see here there is a regular option available. So if you need bold, if you need italic, if you need bold italic combination, you can have all these things inside this regular option. But remember one thing, every font may not have this bold or italic option. So let me click this regular option, and as I was saying, here is the narrow italic, narrow bold italic, regular italic, bold italic, black. So I'm going to pick this bold option, and now you can see now it seems much bold than before. And if you use this black, then you will have the maximum range of the text for bold. So this is my text font stylish. Okay, now one more thing I need to show you, how you will change the color of the text. It's very simple. You just have to make a selection. So where you have to click, if you consider for changing the text color, if you click here, your answer is incorrect. For changing the text color, you have to use this top option for changing the color. This is the alignment option. And for changing the color, you have to click here. Then the pop-up will appear. From here, you can pick the color. So as an example, I'm going to pick the red color. So you can see here is my red color is appeared. And if you want to change the color, here is the blue color. You can pick it up. Here is a green color. You can use it. Here is the gold color, orange color. You can pick it from here, depend on your needs. Okay. So let me click OK. And once everything is done, once the customization or modification is done, you just have to click this tick mark. So here we go. We got our text. Okay. So two more things I need to show you. That is this called the rectangle tool. And this tool is using for creating shape. Suppose you need a rectangle shape in your image. What you have to do, you just have to use this rectangle tool, and you just need to draw a rectangle shape. Okay, you can see here a rectangle shape is created, and you can see the fill color. Here is my fill color, and by default we use the yellow color for filling, and that yellow color is added inside the rectangle shape. But if you want to customize the fill color of the rectangle shape, you can change it from this fill option, and then you will have the different type of color option. And this is the color picker. If you click on color picker, you will have the pop-up, and you can pick any other color. Like here is the blue color. Let me select blue and let me click OK. Now you can see that the shape is filled with the blue color. But if you don't want to get any fill for your rectangle shape, you can use this no fill option. This is called the no fill option, and you can see that rectangle shape is created, and it's have a stroke in here. This is the stroke, and if you want to change the stroke color, you can do that. Let me use this yellow color as stroke, and till now it's not visible because we have very less pixel for stroke. Therefore, you have to increase the pixel of stroke. So let me increase the pixel of stroke, and now it's visible right now. So we just created a rectangle shape, and once it's done, you have to press the enter button. Okay, so you can see that we got the rectangle shape, and you can see here this is our layer panel. When we created this rectangle shape, the rectangle layer is created. When we typed the text, we got the text layer. Actually, all these things are layer. This is our background layer, and this background layer we have got when we created this document. That's why it's called the background layer. The second layer is the image layer. We added this image. You can see here that image is added. That's why we got the image layer in here. This is the text layer. So we just written this text and we got the text layer. And we created a rectangle shape. We got the rectangle layer in here. So instead of rectangle, if you need to create a circle, you just have to right click in here. Then you will have different options. For creating a round shape, you have to use this ellipse tool. Let me use this ellipse tool and let me draw a circle. Okay, so all these things are similar, like shape, stroke, fill, all these things are similar. So instead of yellow, let me pick the red color, and you can see that our red circle is created. And once the creation is done, you have to press the enter button from your keyboard. Now let me draw a triangle shape, and that's why you have to use this triangle tool. Okay, so we have created a triangle shape, but what you will do when you need some different shape, like you may need some telephone icon, you may need some newsletter icon or email icon. Suppose you are creating a postcard or creating a visiting card or business card, then you have to put some Facebook icon, you need to put some phone icon, you need to put some location icon. How you will get that? For having custom icon, you have to right click in here, then you will have this custom shape tool option. So let me click this custom shape tool option for creating some custom shape. And once you will click in this custom shape tool, you will have an option in here, and that's called a shape option. So you can see here we have a tree shape, and if you click in this tree shape, you will have different type of options available. So by default, Photoshop provides some limited number of shapes, and from there, let me open a folder from here, and I want to add a telephone icon. Suppose I'm going to provide a phone number to my business card. That's why I have to put a telephone icon. So you can see here, this is my telephone icon. So let me use it, and now let me draw the telephone shape in here. Okay, so now if you want to change the fill color, as an example, I'm going to use this white color for fill color, and for the stroke I want to use the black color. I want to reduce the stroke pixel, and once it's done, you just have to hit the enter button. So now you can see that we have created a telephone shape. So you can see there are lots of available shapes are available in here. So according to your needs, you can have it. So as I was saying, for writing the email address, you can use this icon for identifying the email object. So you can see I have created the emails. So this is how you will use the custom shape in Adobe Photoshop using the custom shape tool. Okay. And the final tool that's I'm going to show you, that is the zoom tool, and this is the hand tool, and I'm going to show you the use of hand tool on liquify section, and this is the zoom tool. So I hope you got the idea about the use of zoom tool. So if you need to zoom in or zoom out, you have to use the zoom tool. So this is our default view. So if you want to increase the view, you just have to click here, and now you can see our image is zoomed in. If you need more, you have to click once again. Here is again, here is again. So we got the maximum zoom. And for zoom out, you have to use this view menu, and from there you will have the zoom in or zoom out option. So for zoom out, you can use the zoom out option, and again you can use this zoom out option, or you can use the keyboard shortcut. So if you press Ctrl and plus button, then you will have zoom in, and if you use Ctrl and minus button, then you will have the zoom out from your keyboard. And if you are using Mac, instead of Ctrl, you have to press Command. Okay, so let me use my keyboard shortcut, and you can see I'm pressing Ctrl and minus button, and I got zoom out in my image. So this is the basic use of the tools in here, and I hope you got the idea about the use of tools in Adobe Photoshop. The tools we skipped, I have to take a different lesson, because all these things have a wide range of uses. Like this is a gradient tool, and you know, gradient tool have a wide range of uses. That's why I'm going to take a different lesson for using of gradient tool. And as I was saying, that this spot healing brush tool, this dodge tool, burn tool, blur tool, everything have a different uses, and I'm going to take a different lesson for teach you about the use of these tools. So we learned about the tools. Now time to shoot for the menu. Hello everyone, in this lesson we will learn, or we will be introduced to with the menu. So you can see here that in our top we got different type of menus. So let's start with the file menu. So you can see inside the file menu you will have different type of option for creating a new document, for opening any image or opening any existing work that you want to rework, then for saving, for exporting, for printing, for exiting from the software. All these options you will have inside the file menu. So let me show you some uses. We already used this open option in our last lesson. And now I'm going to show you an important part, that is save option. So you can see here I have an image in here. I have opened an image in my Photoshop, and I want to use this brush tool, and using the brush tool I'm drawing some yellow line. Now I want to save it. So you can see the name of my image is Pixel Anna and my extension is JPG. So this line wasn't here. I made this line, and now I want to save this image with this line. Therefore, what I have to do, I have to go for File menu, and from there I will get this save option. So let me click this save option, and then a pop-up will appear, and you can see that JPEG, JPEG or JPG, these all are the same extension. So you have this option for saving your image. So this is what I am doing. I am just saving this image. I just edited, I just make some lines, and I am keeping the same name, I am keeping the same extension, and just I am clicking OK. Now let me open my resource file. So this is my resource file, and this is our image. Now you can see that image is saved with the line. The line came here because we saved the image with the line. That's why it's saved in this way. Okay. So now let me show you with the extension. Suppose I'm using a text in here, like I'm using this type tool and I'm writing some text with some bigger font. Let me write nerding.io. Okay, so it really seems that the size of the text is smaller, and in here we have the maximum 72 point. But if you need to increase more than 72 point, you just have to make a selection, and then you have to type the manual value in here. So instead of 72, I want to write 200. Now let me hit the enter button, and you can see this is the output. And you can see here that we got our text layer in here. Okay, let me click this tick mark, then we will have this text in here. So now along with my image, what I got the text layer. Let me add a circle. I'm adding a circle in here, and you can see here that I got my circle layer inside my layer panel. Okay, now I want to save it for my further task. That means when I will work again, and when I will work again in another computer or in my same computer, so I want to save in a way that I can remove this circle on later. I can edit the text on later. This is what I want to do. That means re-editable file. I want to save in a format of re-editable file. Therefore, what you have to do, you have to go for the file menu, then you have to go for the save as option. Let me click the save as option. Then this pop-up will appear. You have to make sure that save as type should be in Photoshop or PSD format. If you click in here, you will have different type of options. But you have to make sure that you are using this Photoshop or PSD format. So if you use this Photoshop or PSD format, and if you save these things, let me click OK. And now let me close it. And now let me check my resource folder, because I saved my task in my resource folder. And you can see that along with Pixels Anna JPEG format, I got another same name, that's Pixel Anna. But you can see here we have PS, that means we have Photoshop extension. So I want to open these things because I want to re-edit my text, I want to re-edit my circles. Therefore, I'm going to use this open option. And here I got Pixels Anna. And this is a PSD format. You can see here, this is my PSD format. And let me click open. And you can see all the circle, all the layer I got with my image. So if I need to disappear right now, if I want to disappear this circle, I have to click in here. So this thing is gone. If I want to edit my text, then I have to use the type tool, and instead of nerding IO, if I want to type some other name like Manuel, so I written a text in here, so I am still able to edit my text. So you can see that I have the layer of ellipse. Let me turn on. Here is the option. This eye option is working for turning on, the visibility or invisibility of the layer. And now if you need to modify this circle, suppose instead of yellow you need to make it red, therefore what you have to do, you have to use this move tool. You have to select it, and then you have this appearance option, like fill option. Previously, when we were working with shapes like rectangle shapes and ellipse shapes, all the setups were here. But when you will re-edit all these things, you have to make sure that you have selected the exact layer, then you have to select the object, then you will have this option. So instead of yellow color, I want to change it and I want to turn in red. So you have to click this fill option. From here, I'm selecting this red option, and now you can see I just turned into red. So same here for this text part. Instead of orange, if you need to change it, suppose you need to make this color as a pink. How you will do that? You have to use the type tool. You have to make a selection. So here is the option, or here is the option. So you can pick from this part or from this part. So I'm picking this color option and I'm picking this pink color. And once you select the pink color, let me click OK and let me click the tick mark. Now you can see that I have changed the text color. So for future modification or for future editing, you have to save your file in PSD extension. Remember the extension PSD. Then you will have the re-editable file. But if you want to save in a compact option that you will not be able to change in near future, you will not be able to change the layer, and you will not be able to edit the layer. In that case, you can use the JPEG or JPG extension. And you can see I have opened these things, and you can see here this is my PSD extension. This is what is showing here. So I hope you got the idea about the saving your task on Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so this is all about the save option. Okay, the next menu is edit menu. So when you need to work with undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, as like the fill, stroke, content hour, all these things, when you have to work with, you have to focus on edit menu. So the basic use of cut, copy, you have to focus on the edit menu, and in our real-time class project we will use most of the functions from this menu. Okay, the next menu is about image. So when you need to resize your image, like image size, canvas size, and even if you need to make some auto adjustments, then you will have to work with the image menu. And you can see here we have another option called the adjustments option, and in this adjustments option you will have a different type of option like brightness, contrast, level, curves, vibrance, saturation, and all these adjustments function you will have inside this adjustments tab. So this is our adjustments tabs, and this adjustments tools also placed inside the adjustment menu. Okay, so in our layer section, this is our layer menu, and this layer menu are associated with this layer panel. So for creating a new layer, for creating a background layer, and for layer masking, vector masking, auto filling, new filling, all this layer related task is associated with this layer menu. And this is the type menu, and when you will work with the work text and when you need to work with the match fonts, anti-alias, all these things are associated with the type menu. And this is the select menu. So we already learned about the use of this select menu, because for selecting and deselecting you have to use this select menu from here. And along with that, For selecting some subject, color range, focus area, all these things are associated with this select menu, and all the function we will work in real-time class project or in our another lesson, because when we will learn different type of function, then we will work all these functions from here. The next menu is filter. So this filter menu is really interesting, because if you can properly utilize the filter menu, then you will be able to make a different type of images. Like if you need to make some blurry image, you can use this filter menu. If you need to create some liquify tool, some vanishing point, some lens effect, and some kind of a sharpen effect, so whatever you need, most of the option of filter you will have inside this filter menu. And this is our 3D menu. So when you need to work for the 3D task, you will have to work with this 3D menu, because this 3D menu will give you some elements like 3D layers, 3D objects, 3D subjects, all these things you will have from this 3D menu. And this is our view menu, and this view menu is associated with the interface actually. So for zooming in, zooming out, grid, rulers, lines, all these things are associated with this view menu. And this is the plugins. So if you are using the licensed version, in that case you may have this plugins option from here for adding additional plugin to work with along with the Photoshop. And finally we have the Windows. So you can see here in Windows you will have this workspace option, and if you have any specific reason to work with Photoshop, suppose you will work for the motion part or for photography, in that case you can change the workspace. But this is the essential or the default workspace, the interface you are watching here inside our monitor. This is our essential or default workspace, but if you need to change the workspace, you can change it from here. So as an example, let me select this photography. So you can see here that once I used that photography workspace, it's changed the layout at my right side. So according to your need, you can change the workspace. So let me use this essential workspace, and here is the essential tools are available in here. So what you need, you will have all these things in here, like brushes, brush settings, gradients, history, library, materials, paragraphs. So whatever the basic needs you need to work with the Photoshop, you will have all these things inside this Windows menu. And finally we got the help option. So if you need any help for using of Photoshop, you can have it from here, like the version, like any FAQ. So all these things you will have inside this help menu. So this is the introduction of menus, and I just introduced which menu is working for which purpose. And when you will work and when you will be familiar with the uses of menu, then you will be able to find out every function of menu easily, but therefore you have to make a lot of practice. So we just got introduced with the basic use of menu, and we're going to see you in our next lesson for learning another topic. Hello everyone, welcome once again, and now we're going to learn about the use of vibrance and saturation in Adobe Photoshop. So what is the use of vibrance and saturation? You need to know first. Suppose you got an image of a forest, or you got an image of a flower, but the forest image does not contain the active green color for the background, because most of the forest contains the green color. But if your image's colors is inactive, it seems like a not strong or active color on the image of forest, or if you have the less active color of the flower, like the purple color, the yellow or the pink or the red color seems not active in your image, in that case you can use vibrance and saturation for making the image more active and strong than before. And that's the main use of vibrance and saturation, and now we're going to learn all these things in real time. So let's open an image from our resource file, and therefore you have to go for the file menu, open option, and from there I want to select this forest image. So you just have to select it and then you have to click open. So you can see a new image is opened in our new tab here, and this is an image of some purple colors, flower, you can see the grasses, you can see the trees, and you can see the leaves of the trees. But if you consider the color of the flower or the grasses and all the leaves, it's not seems active. But if you want to make them active, in that case you have to use the vibrance and saturation. So therefore, at first, what you have to do, you have to unlock the background image. You can see here we got the background image, and this is called the background layer. I need to unlock the background layer, and I'm duplicating the layer. And for duplicate, you just have to press Ctrl and J for Japan for Windows user, and if you are using Mac, then you have to press Command and J button. Okay, so you can see that a new layer is created. So right now we have total 2 image. So for the top layer, or you can call the layer O copy, we will apply the vibrance and saturation to this image, and therefore you have to click this adjustments tab. This is our adjustments tabs, and inside the adjustments tab you will have this triangle shape. This is called the vibrance tool. So let me click this vibrance tool, and then you will have the settings inside the properties tab. So you can see we have 2 indicator, vibrance and saturation. This is what I was telling. So at first we have to consider the vibrance indicator, and here is the manual value, and it's have right now the 0 value. So if you move this pointer at right side, then you will have some activeness inside the image. Please focus on image, and I am moving this pointer at right side. So let me take it for plus 100, and here is the difference. So you can see here, once we apply the vibrance tool, we got the vibrance layer in here. So after implementing vibrance for 100%, we need to check the difference between before and after. Therefore, I'm turning off the vibrance 1 layer, and this is our actual image. But after applying the vibrance, what we got? We got this. Now the color of the flower seems more active than before. Let me turn it off. Inactive, active. Okay, cool. Now we will work with the saturation. So let me increase the indicator, or let me move this pointer up saturation at right side for increasing the value or applying the saturation to the image. So let me move this pointer at right side. Okay, so we are moving the saturation for 85%, and here is the output. So what we applied vibrance for 100%, saturation for 85%. Now let's compare between before and after. Okay, let me turn off the vibrance layer in here. This is the actual image, and it really seems very inactive image. And let me turn on the vibrance 1 layer. What we got? We got the more active and strong image than before. So if you want to reduce the saturation or vibrance, in that case, what you can do, you can just move the vibrance for 0 value. Okay, let me type it manually, and now let me move the vibrance point also for 0 value. Okay, so this is our actual image. But if you want to reduce the vibrance, you have to move this pointer at left side with the negative value. You can see here the minus sign is added in front of the value, and I'm moving the vibrance layer at top most in left side with the negative value, and this is what we got in our image. So let's do the same things for saturation, then you will have the idea about the use of saturation in negative values. So let me move this indicator at the left side. So what we got? We almost got a black and white image in here. So this is how you will manipulate of an image using vibrance and saturation for the color especially. So let me increase the saturation, let me increase the vibrance, let me increase a little more. Now it seems much better than before. So now let me put for 75 point, plus 75 for vibrance, and let me increase saturation for 31 point. And now it really seems much better than before. So let's compare between before and after. Let me turn off the vibrance one layer. We don't have the activeness as like before because we turned off the vibrance one layer. And now let me turn on the vibrance one layer, and we got the active image, strong image than before. And you can see the color of the flower, color of the grasses, color of the trees, color of the leaves of the trees seems much better than before. So you can manipulate, or you can choose, or you can change the points or the indicator that's depend on your needs. So you can use the vibrance and saturation for changing the activeness or applying the activeness of strong image in Adobe Photoshop. So I hope you learn about the vibrance and saturation in our Adobe Photoshop lesson. So I'm going to see you in our next lesson. Hello everyone, and now we are going to learn a really interesting lesson. This will make you happy if you're an absolute beginner, because this is totally different things, and you have to use this technique for again and again and for a long time for changing the colors. And the lesson we are going to talk about is called hue and saturation. In last lesson, what we learned about the vibrance and saturation, and that's applying the activeness and strongness inside the image. But what you will do if you need to change the color of the image, and we will learn about all these things inside this lesson. And the name of our lesson is hue and saturation. Suppose you have a red flower and you need to change the color of flower in very easy way. Therefore you have to use hue and saturation option. So let's directly jump to our practical lesson. And therefore what we have to do, we have to open our resource file, and that's why I'm going to use this file menu, open option, and you can see that a bunch of beautiful fresh bright pink blooms. This is a name of the image, and you can see here a nice pink color flower with a black background. So you just have to select it, and I'm selecting this one and I'm clicking open. And you can see here that we got a nice beautiful flower in here. And you can see we got the background layer. So what is the color of the flower? It's the pink right now. So if you want to change the color of the flower, like you need to turn this flower into green, if you need to turn this pink color flower into yellow, in that case, what you will do? This is what I'm going to tell you right now. Let's jump to the process, and I'm going to unlock this background layer, and you can see here that our layer is unlocked. And for changing the color of the flower, we have to use the adjustments tool once again, and then you will have this option called hue and saturation. So let me click this hue and saturation. Then it will shift you to the properties tab, and you can see here that we got hue, saturation, lightness option. So let's start with the hue, because I hope you already got the idea what is the use of the saturation, because this saturation and in our last lesson saturation are the same things. This saturation will make more active and stronger images, but for changing color you have to use the hue option. So this is called the hue, and you can see there are lots of color pattern in here, and you can see there is a pointer, an indicator. So for changing the color of this flower, you have to move this pointer at left or at right. So let's start with the left, or the negative value. So when you will move this pointer at the left side, remember one thing, you always have the negative value in here. Therefore, let's move the pointer at left side, and you can see the change of the color. Okay, so when we placed the indicator in here for -65 value, the pink color turned into purple color. Now let me move the pointer more at left. Now what is turned? Is turned into blue color. This is really amazing. And what we have? We have -102 value. But we still have some more option to move at left. Therefore, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this pointer more left. Now what we got? We got the cyan color. Let me move more. What we got? We got the green color. So when we moved the hue pointer from 0 value to -180, or at left side, we got different type of colors, like the pink, like the purple, like the blue, and like what we got? We got the green color. Now let me move this pointer at right side. We got the blue color once again. We got the purple color. We got the pink color. And this is the actual color. And if you move it more right, and we got +21 value, the pink flower turned into red color right now. If you put the 0 value, or the actual value or actual image, if you want to get back, you have to press 0. So what we got? We got the pink color. But if you want to make red, you have to move this pointer at right side. So till here we got, for +28 value, we got the red color. Now let me move this pointer more at right side. Okay, what we got? We got almost orange color in here. Okay, now what we got? We got the yellow color. Now let me move for 100. We got almost some kind of green color. This is also green. And it's called a cyan color. So we got different type of colors for our plus value, or you can consider +180, because we moved the pointer at right side. So let me move the pointer at left once again, and you can see the changes. The color of the flower is changing. It's turned into green, yellow, orange, red, pink, or the actual color, purple, blue, cyan, and it's a kind of light green. So we learned how it will change the color. And if you want to get back the actual image, you just have to turn off the hue or saturation layer. You can see here, once we applied the hue and saturation from the adjustment tools, we got this layer. So if you turn off, you will have the exact same or the original image. Let me turn it off. You can see this is our exact or original image. And if you want to apply the changes, you just have to turn it on. Okay. So now I want to keep the image till here. Okay. So we have the yellow color flower. Now let's work with the saturation. If you need the more strong yellow color, you just have to increase the saturation. And now you can see we have the more stronger yellow color applied to our image. And if you need to reduce the strongness or activeness from this flower, in that case you have to reduce the saturation. You can move the saturation at the left side, and now you can see that it seems it's kind of a dry flower, or don't have the active yellow color applied in the image, or you can consider as an old image of the flower. Okay, so this is the use of the saturations, and I'm keeping for the +2 or 0 value. And now let's consider about the lightness. So if you need the lightness, if you need the white part, you have to move this pointer at right side, and you can see, or you can see the change of the image in here, because I increased the lightness and it not seems really good. But if you need to apply some kind of dark effect, then you can move that pointer at left side, and you can see that the dark effect is applied in here. Actually, it's not applied a dark effect. The lightness is reduced from here. So this is the use of the lightness bar. Okay, so I'm keeping for the 0 value. And now we got the hue, we got the saturation, and we got lightness that's we applied to this image. So I hope you learned and you enjoyed how it will change the color of an image using hue and saturation in Adobe Photoshop. And in our next lesson, we're going to learn another interesting lesson that called how it will change any specific color of an image using hue and saturation. So till now, I'm going to see you in our next lesson. Hello everyone, and now we're going to learn how it will change a specific color using hue and saturation in Adobe Photoshop. In the last lesson, what we did? We changed the entire color of an image. But when you need to change any specific color from the image, how it will do that? I'm going to show you right now. And therefore, I'm going to open an image from our exercise file, and that's why I'm going to click the File menu, Open option. And from here, I'm going to use this Pixels Clayton image, and you can see it's a nice image of a sunflower. So you just have to select it and then you have to click Open. Okay, you can see a beautiful sunflower image in here, and you can see here that it's have a wall in the background, it's have the green leaves, number of leaves in here, as well as it's have a door in here. But if you need to change a specific color, like if you need to change only the yellow part from this image, how it will do that? You can answer me that using hue and saturation. If you consider the answer is hue and saturation, in that case your answer is right. But we have to follow a different technique. Let me show you. So for applying the hue and saturation, let me unlock this background layer. Let me click in this Adjustments tab. Here is the hue and saturation option. And now what we need to change only the yellow color, and all the green color will remain same as like before. We don't want to change anything in the white wall or in our door. So we applied the hue and saturation, and if you move the hue pointer, so what ultimately happening, you can see the color of the flower is changed. Along with that, the green color, and as well as the door color, as well as the white wall color also changing. You can see that the green leaves totally turn into a different color. Let me move the same pointer at right side. You can see the green color into turned in a deep blue color. Let me move more at right side. It's changing everything. But this is not what we are looking for. I just want to change only the color of the flower. Like, let me put 0 in hue value, then we will get the exact image or original image. So actually what I need to keep the lips color green, all the same things like the background, wall, door, lips will remain same, only the yellow part will be changed. This is what I'm going to do. So if you only use the hue and saturation, you will not get the exact result that you were looking for. For having the exact result, you have to use this master option. You can see here we have the master option, and from the master you will have different type of color like red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, magentas. So what we are looking to change, we are looking to change the yellow color. That's why I'm going to select this yellows. And now let me move this pointer at the left side. So ultimately what we got, our yellow color changed and yellow color turned into red, but our leaves, our walls, and our doors remain as like before. So this is what I actually looking for. I just want to change the specific color and all the other color will remain same. And therefore, using the master option, you have to change what color you need to change. So if you need to change the yellow color, then you have to select the yellows. If you need to change the red colors or green colors, so whatever color you want to change from the image, you have to declare from the master option. So as our color work with the yellows, that's why we have selected yellows, and now we moved and the yellow sunflower turned into pink sunflower. This is really amazing. Now it's turned into blue, it seems green, and different colors is available. So this is how you will change a specific color from an image using master option of hue and saturation. And if you don't want to apply the hue and saturation or changing the colors, then you just have to turn off this hue and saturation layer inside the layer panel. Then you will have the actual or original image. So let me turn it off. So this is our exact or original image, and after applying the hue and saturation, you just have to turn on this hue and saturation layer. So let me turn it on. Okay, cool. So this is how you will change any specific color inside any image using hue and saturation option along with the master option. Hello everyone, and now we're going to learn about the use of other tools in adjustment tab, and therefore we're going to open an image from our resource file. So as an example, I want to get this negative space flowers color, and you just have to select it and then you have to click open. Okay, this is a beautiful image, and you can see the trees, skies, flowers, grasses are, you can call it a combination. Okay, now if you focus on adjustment tab, then number of options you will have in here. So let's start for the first one. It's called the brightness and contrast. So let me click this brightness and contrast option. Then you will have the properties. So once you will use a tab, or once you will use a tool from the adjustment tab, automatically the layer will be created inside our layer panel. So I hope you already got the idea what is the use of brightness and contrast. And yes, you are right. For increasing or decreasing the brightness and contrast, this is the indicator. So if you need to increase the brightness, you just have to move this pointer at right side, and here is the output. And if you need to remove the brightness or reduce the brightness, you have to move this pointer at left side. And what we got the less bright image in here. So this indicator applying for reducing the brightness, and at left side you will have the low brightness, and at right side you will have the maximum brightness. And if you need to reset the value, what you have to do, you just have to put the 0 value, or you have to move the pointer at the center in here. Then what you will get? You will get contrast. So if you want to increase the contrast of the image, you just have to move this pointer at right side, and you can see the contrast is applied in here. Maybe you will not able to find out is it contrast applied or not. And for having the difference, let me turn off the brightness and contrast layer. This is my actual image, and after applying or increasing the contrast, this is what I got. So I hope you got the idea about the applying contrast in here, and we got the maximum contrast in here. But if you need to reduce the contrast level, you just have to move this pointer at left side, and this is the output of reducing the contrast. Let me turn off the brightness or contrast layer. This is the actual image. Okay, so we applied the contrast and brightness in here. Like, let me increase the contrast a little as well as the brightness. Okay, and now it seems is active image. And if you compare between before and after, let me turn off the brightness and contrast layer. Okay, this is our original image, and after applying the brightness and contrast, this is what we got. So I hope you got the difference between before and after. And yes, with the applying of brightness and contrast, this image seems much better than before. Okay, so I'm going to delete this contrast layer because we just learned about the brightness and contrast. And for deleting the brightness and contrast layer, you just have to select the layer. You have to press the delete button from your keyboard, or you can use this delete icon. Then you have to press yes. Okay, so our brightness and contrast part is gone. Now let me click Adjustment tab, and here is the Labels option. This is important, so I'm going to click this Labels option. And once you will have the labels, this is the properties of labels. So these labels also working for applying the color, like the brightness, darkness, all these things that will be applicable with the labels. Suppose you need to add the dark effect in here. So you can see here, this is the lighting indicator, this is the dark indicator. So as I was saying, that if you need the dark impact to this image, you just have to move this pointer at right side. Let me move the pointer at right side, and you can see the dark effect is applied on here. Let me make it 0 as like before, and for this dark pointer, this is the field for putting the manual value. And if you need to increase the brightness using the labels, you just have to use this right side pointer, and you have to move this pointer at the left side, and now you can see the brightness is applied. Actually, labels, as I was saying, that labels are using for labeling the image, and this is the option. Okay, let me move this pointer at right side, and this center point basically used for the labeling of entire dark part or brightness. So let me move at left side. So what we got the brightness effect applied in here, and if you move at right side, the dark part is applying in here. Okay, so you can see here we got RGB option, but if you need to work with a specific color, in that case you can use this option. So if you really want to work with a red color, so let me select this red one, and now let me move the pointer at right side. So now you can see that the effect is applying for the red part especially, not in entire images, as well as the same thing for whitening the image. And if you select the green color, then what will happen, you can see all the other color remain almost same, but only the dark part is applying to the green part, because in this image there are lots of green part is available. But if you focus on yellow flowers, that remain same as like before. Okay, you can see the yellow color remains same as like before, but only the greenish effect is just changing because we have selected the green color. And for the blue, you have to select the blue and you have to move the pointer in here, and you can see that with the blue it's applying for some kind of part of the skies. Okay, so this is how you will apply the label for labeling the image of brightness or darkness inside of an image in Adobe Photoshop. So let me delete this level 1 layer. Okay, now let me click this adjustments tabs once again, and I'm going to show you for learning about these of curves. So you can see here this called the curves. So I'm selecting this curves tool, and then you will have a setup in here inside the properties tab. This curves is also using for increasing or decreasing the lightness. So you can see here we have the default RGB selection that's called the red, green, and blue. And if you move this pointer at the top left side, the color will be increased or brightness will be increased. And for reducing the brightness of the color, you have to move this pointer at the below or you can consider at right bottom part. Okay, so let me move this pointer at right side. So as I was saying, that when you will move this pointer at upper side, or you can call the top left side, you will have this output, and increasing it's increase the colors, and for decreasing you just have to move this pointer at here. This is what we got. So This color curves is also a good practice for increasing and decreasing the color of the image. So it's also have the RGB effect for red, green and blue. So suppose I'm going to select this green part, and now let me increase the greenish part in here. So what we got the greenish effect applied to our image. And if you need to reduce it here, greenish part almost gone, it's turned into purple, and all the other color like yellow, like the red color, that's remain same. So for the red part, I'm doing the same things. You can see here the reddish effect is applied in here. And for reducing, you can see this is the output of red. So this is how this curves is working for changing the lightness or brightness or the darkness of the contrast part in image. So I'm going to delete these curves. I'm going to delete these levels. Okay, all these things is gone. Now I'm going to use the exposure tool. So this is, you can see the exposure tool, and I want to warn you one thing for applying the exposure, because exposure is a kind of increasing the lightness or brightness, but you cannot increase exposure a lot, because in that case your image may burn. So you can see here, this is the pointer, and if you move the exposure pointer at right side, here is the output. I only increased a little, but if you increase a lot, so as I was saying that your image may burn, so here is the effect, and it seems that the image burned a lot. So therefore you have to be aware for using the exposure in the image. And as I was saying, a small amount of exposure can give you a better result. And if you move this pointer at left side, then what you will have, you will get less light from the image. So I hope you got the idea how this exposure things is working. Okay, so let me delete this exposure layer. Okay, now we're going to focus on color balance, and we're going to skip some tools in here, because this photo filter, this gradient and some tools have totally different uses, and we need to create a different lesson for them, because this gradient uses photo filters and some all other tools really have some wide range of uses, and that's why I want to take a different lessons for using the gradient, for using the filters. Okay, so as I was saying, that now we are going to learn about the color balance. Let me click this color balance, and you can see here, once we clicked on the color balance, we got 3 indicators, and each indicator have 2 colors: cyan, red, magenta, green, yellow, blue. So which color effect you need to apply to the image, you can apply it from here. Suppose you need to apply some kind of yellow effect to this image, you just have to move this pointer at the left side, so you can see the result that yellow effect is applied to the image. And if you need the blue effect, you just have to move the pointer at the blue, and you can see the bluish effect is applied to the image. Okay, and the next part is for magenta and green. So if you move the pointer at the left side, we got the magenta effect applied to our image, and if you move these things at the right side, what you will have the maximum number of green effect to this image. And if you move this pointer at right side, the red effect will be applicable to the image, and you can see the result in here. And if you need to apply the cyan color or cyan effect, you just have to move this pointer at left side, and this is what we got. Okay, so if you need to do some customization, like changing the magenta color, applying some red color, implementing some blue color, or implementing some yellow color or blue color, and if you need to put some red color, so Now you can see that we got some more active color than before. So I'm not implementing the levels of green too much because this image already have a number of green effect in here, so therefore I'm keeping these things still now. And let's compare between before and after. Let me turn off the color balance one layer. This is the original image, and after applying a small mid-tone we got the output in here. So this is how you will apply the color balance. So I'm deleting the color balance layer from here. Okay, now let me click this adjustment tools and let me click the black and white tools. So this is the black and white tools. So as I was saying, that if you need to make any black and white image, you just use these tools directly for applying or making the image black and white, and you can see the result. But we have an interesting customization in here. You can see that we had some yellow flowers in here, we had some red flowers, we had some green trees, green grasses. But if we want to manipulate with a specific color for making black and white, you can do that very easily. Let me show you how. So as I was saying, that we have the majority areas of green, therefore we got the green effect. And if we want to manipulate with the black and white effect with the greenish part from this image, let me move this pointer at the left side, then you will have the output in here. So ultimately what we did, we reduced the green part and only the greenish effect is applied in here. And for increasing the green part, you just have to move these things. So in which area green color contains, it's work with that area especially. And for yellow, you can see that all the flower colors were yellow, and that's why when I increase the yellow indicator, all the flowers seems more active. And you can remember that along with the yellow flower, we had some red flower as well. That's why I'm increasing the red part, and you can see this red flowers seems more active now. You can see this one, and as well as we have some sun or some rising color in here. That's why that color or that part is also responding in here. And if you need to reduce the red color, so you just have to move the pointer right here, so you can identify the specific red colors. Same things for the blue color, yellow color, and you can see all these things are yellow color in here. So this is how you will manipulate the black and white effect to the image in Adobe Photoshop. So I'm deleting this black and white layer. Okay, now I want to show you invert effect. Suppose you need to apply some kind of negative impact to your image, then you just have to use this one-click invert option. Let me click this invert option. So what I was saying, that it's called a one-click negative impact. So you can see it seems like some kind of X-ray or negative or filming effect that's applied to the image. And this is how you will use that invert in here. Let me delete it. And now I'm going to show you the use of threshold. And this is the threshold option. And once you will click threshold, it will turn another black and white, but you can still manipulate the levels of threshold. This is the levels of threshold. And what do you need? Do you need the white part more, or do you need the black part more? You can manipulate these things from here. So let me reduce this pointer at left side. Then what you will have the maximum number of white area. So you can see we got lots of white area in here. And if you need more black area, you just have to move this pointer at right side. Then you will have the more black area or the black part in your image. So this pointer is using for increasing the white area or increasing the black area. So if you increase the white area, black part will be reduced, and if you increase the black part, then white part will be reduced. So this is the strategy of threshold. So all the necessary tools from the adjustments tab I just teach you in this lesson, and I hope you got the idea which tools is using for which purpose. Especially most of the tools are relevant and almost have the similar result, like if you consider the brightness and contrast as well as the levels as well as the curves. So all these things are relevant, and with this relevancy you can manipulate any image with a specific word. And this is how, if you are familiar with the use of the tools from the adjustments tab, then you will be able to manipulate any kind of image using the adjustment tools in Adobe Photoshop. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'm going to see you in our next lesson. Hello dear students, now we are going to learn about the layers in Adobe Photoshop, and this layer part is really very important because you need to know how to use the layer, because in every step you have to use the layers. So let's start from the beginning. So for starting with the layer lesson, you can see I got the new file option in here. So I have to create a new file for showing you the layer, and I'm clicking this new file option, and this is my preset. I'm picking this default Photoshop size, this preset, and I'm going to click create. So you can see this is my layer panel at the right bottom. So this is my layer panel, and as we created our new document, this document is considered as background layer. So when you will create some new elements or new object or new shapes or new design, whatever you will create, you will have to figure out the layer. Because if you create a type, if you use the type tool and create a text, then you will have the text layer in here. Okay, now I want to show you that I want to open an image. So you can see here, this is my open option, and from our resource file I want to open an image. So from my resource file I'm going to select this plant garden flower. I want to select this one and I'm going to click open. So you can see that this image is opened in a new tab, and the name of this image is layer 1. So I want to place this image to our untitled 1 tab. So therefore you can use drag and drop method. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this flower by pressing left button from my mouse, and you just have to press and hold, and you have to drag and you have to move it here. This is my untitled one, and I am leaving here. Okay, so you can see that the image is placed here, and now you can see that the layer 1 also placed here. So now I want to increase the size of this image. Therefore I have to scale it, and for scale you can press Ctrl and T button, T for Taiwan, or you can click this edit menu, and from there you will have this transform option, and from there you will get this scale option. Okay, so once you will click scale, you will be able to change the size. So you can see here our width and height are linked. So when you will increase the width, along with the width, the height also will be increased. So let me show you. So you can see here I am just pulling my mouse at the left side. I am not pulling at top, but along with that the height is also increasing. That's because for linking width and height. So I want to delink these links, and now you can see that now the width and height is not linked. So now if you move the pointer at right side, then the height will be not increased. Okay, so for increasing and decreasing the size, you have to place your mouse cursor to this pointer. At every angle you will have the pointer. So I am placing my image in here, and I'm increasing the size of the image till here. Okay, so once it's done, you can hit the enter button from your keyboard, or you can click the stick mark for commit transform. Okay, so what we got a beautiful image, but this image don't have any background. So what we got the transparent background. That means we have the background layer in here, and that background layer is present. So this is our layer placement. Now let me show you one thing. If you want to remove, or if you want to make this flower invisible, in that case you can see here this is an eye icon. You just have to click here. So if you click here, that layer will be remain in here, but it will not visible to our main file. So for making visible, you just have to click this eye icon, then you will have the layer in here. Okay, so you can see that we have the white background in here, but instead of white background, I want to place a sky in here. Then it will look much better. So therefore, what I have to do, I have to open an image of sky. Therefore, I'm going to click this file menu, and from there I'm going to click this place embedded option, because open and place embedded are different. So I'm clicking this place embedded option, and you can see that I have a sky image in here. So you just have to select it, and then you have to click place. So you can see here that our sky is placed in here, and let me cover all these things, and you can see here along with the height, the width is also increasing. That's because the height and width is linked. I want to delink, and now I want to cover this entire image with the sky. Okay, so you can see that we have the sky in here. So the main topic that I want to place this sky image at the background of flower layer, and you can see that our sky layer is placed at top. So let me turn off the sky layer. So what we got, our flower is present here, and in the background what we got the background layer or the main document layer. But I want that the flower will be placed in here, and instead of the white background, this sky image will be placed. But when I'm turning on the sky layer, then what is happening here? You can see that the sky is placed at top, but we are not able to get the flower. Therefore, you need to know the use of layer placement. Remember one thing, in here we have total 3 layers. The top layer are always visible at your main screen. So which layer will be placed at top, that layer will be visible in here. So we need to make visible this layer 1 and this sky layer at ons, because this layer 1 have a transparent background at top. Therefore, you have to move this sky layer at second position. Now you can see that we got our perfect image. We got the flower in here, and we got the sky background in here, and this is what we are looking for. So I hope you got the idea. Again, I'm telling you that the top layer which will be placed at top, that will be visible in here. Suppose this layer 1 don't have the transparent background. If this layer 1 have a different background, or if the image of layer 1 have the entire fulfilled background, in that case this sky may not visible. So as an example, let me place this background layer at top, and what is happening. But if you want to move this background layer, you can see here this background layer is locked. So you have to unlock this background layer, because if you keep this background layer locked, then you will not be able to move this background layer at top or at second position. And how you will unlock it? You just have to click this lock icon. And now you can see, once you click the lock icon, it will be renamed. In our previous condition, it has the name as background. So once you click this lock icon, it will turn into layer O. So now let me place this layer O at top. So what is happening? The white background placed in here, because as I was saying, the top layer is always visible to our main screen. So depend on your needs which layer will be placed in which position. You have to fix this out from this layer panel. So I am moving this layer in here, and now we got the perfect setup. Okay, you can see here that in our sky layer we have an icon. Actually, this icon is indicating that you have to rasterize the layer. I am turning off this layer 1. I am turning off this layer O. So now, if you want to make some line with the brush, what you will do? You have to use the brush, but you cannot draw a line here, because this sky layer is not a single layer. It can contain a lots of materials. And this symptom or this icon is indicating for smart object. So for applying or drawing some kind of word, you have to rasterize this layer. And for rasterize, you have to place your mouse cursor to the name of the layer and you have to right click with your mouse. Then you will have this rasterize layer option. And now you can see, now you will be able to draw some line. Okay. So I hope you got the idea how you will rasterize the layer. Okay. Now let me turn it on. And now I want to write some text. And therefore I'm using this type tool, and in here let me type. You can see it's big in size of font, therefore I'm going to use this 72 point from this font size. I'm writing here blue sky. Okay, so once it's done, you just have to click this tick mark, and I have to move this text at center, and therefore you can use this move tool. So this is my move tool, and I am moving this text at center. Okay, now you can see that we got another layer, and it's called the blue sky, and it's the text layer. So now if you want to keep just a single layer instead of 3, in that case what you will do? So if you want to get this entire task as a final task and you want to combine all these 3 layers in a single layer, therefore you have to convert all these things into a smart object. Suppose you don't want to move this text from here, you don't want to move the sky from here. So what you will do? If you use this move tool and if you select this sky layer and if you using your mouse for moving the sky, then it will move from here and there, because this is not a combined task. But if you want to move the entire 3 tasks like text, like flowers, like skies, in that case you have to convert all this layer into smart object. And do you know how you will do that? You just have to select all these 3 layers, and for selecting all these 3 you have to press Ctrl button from your keyboard, and then you have to right click with your mouse in here, then you have to click in convert to smart object. Now you can see we have the same icon as like before. Now I am moving this image, and along with the image, my text, my flower, all are moving along. But in previous way, what we got when we used the sky layer for moving, only the sky layer was moving. But once I turned into convert layer, convert to smart object, then it's converted into smart layer or smart object. And now all these 3 things are combined at once. But if you need to, suppose now you need to modify the text, then what you will do? You just have to double click to this smart icon. Then you have to click OK. Then you can see that our smart object is opened in a new tab. And here we got the text layer. And now you will be able to, change the text. Suppose I want to remove this sky text, and therefore you have to use the type tool. You just have to place your cursor in here, and I'm deleting the sky text, and I'm selecting OK. Now I'm pressing Ctrl and S button for saving, or you can click this file menu, and from there you can click this save option, and I'm closing it. Now you can see that in our main windows or in main tab, our sky is removed, because I need to modify, I was looking to modify the text. Therefore, once you will click in this smart object icon, you will have a new tab, and in here all 3 layers that you created and you converted them into smart object, that will be opened in a different panel, and now you will be able to change anything from here. So this is how you will work with the layer. So I hope you got the idea how the layer is working, how to place the layer position, how to turn on and turn off, I mean visible or invisible, all these things are associated with the layer. Hello dear students, now we are going to learn about the gradient, and we will apply these things in text. So at first you need to know what is gradient. Actually, gradient is a combination of 2 or multiple color, and now we will learn about the gradient, and we will apply in our document, we will apply in our text. Okay, so for learning gradient, let me create a new document, and I'm picking this default Photoshop size. I'm clicking create. So you can see that my document is created in here. So you can see that this is our gradient tool, and you can see this is our gradient tool, and I'm picking this gradient tool. So when you will click this gradient tool, you will have the gradient setup in here, and if you place your mouse cursor inside the document, the cursor will be changed. Let me show you. And for drawing a gradient, you just have to draw a line. So you can see that we have total two color in here, black and white, and it's a combination of gradient. So in different angle have different type of gradients. So let me pull for straight. Let me pull the line from bottom to top, left to right, and now I'm pulling the line in here. Okay, so this is our gradient preview. So if you need to put some different style, you can use this setup. And you can see here we have some different type of presets, and that's are provided by Adobe Photoshop. So you can for changing the gradient, you can click here, and once you will click, you will have this pop-up, and from here you can pick the preset. Like there are lots of folders, and the gradient we just used, that's from the basic folder. And let me open the blue folder, and I'm going to select one. So as an example, I'm going to pick this one. Let me click OK, and let me draw a line. So now you can see that we got a gradient with the blue color. Let me draw another, and you can see here is the two combination of color. And let me have some more, like this is the purple, and here is all the presets. Let me pick this one. Let me click OK. So here is the combination of multiple color. Okay, now I will show you how you will customize or how you will create a custom gradient. Suppose you need to create a different shapes or different type of colors, and therefore I'm going to select this basic gradient, and you can see here that we have the color option in here. And for changing the color, you just have to double click in this option, and then the pop-up will appear. So which color you need, you have to select it from here. So as an example, let me pick the red one. And for the second color, for selecting the second color, you just have to click in this second point in here. You just have to double click, and for the second color, let me pick the yellow color. I'm picking the yellow color, and now let me click OK. And now let me draw a line. So now you can see I have created a combination of red and yellow color, and the gradient is created. So I hope you got the idea how the gradient is working. And instead of two color, if you need more color, like you need to add the two more color, I mean the combination of four color, how you will do? You just have to place your mouse cursor in which position you want to add the color. So if you need to add a color in here, you just have to click once, then the color dropper will be available. You just have to double click. Here is the pop-up, and now you can set up a second color. So as an example, I want to pick the pink color in here. Let me click OK, and I want to add another color. So I want to add another color in here, and I'm clicking here, and in here I'm going to pick some green color. Let me click OK. And now let me draw another line. So now you can see we got total 4 different color in here: yellow, green, pink, and the red. So if you need to move in different direction, you just have to change the angle. Here is the top to bottom. So you can draw the angle, or you can draw the gradient in your document. Okay, so now I'm going to close this tab, and I don't want to save it. That's why I'm clicking no. Now I will apply the gradient in text, and therefore how you will do that, you just have to click this new file option. Let me create a new document, and now I'm going to use this type tool, and with the type tool I'm going to write here a text called nerding IO. Let me click the tick mark, and using the move tool, let me place the text in here. So our text color is pink, but I want to apply the gradient, I mean the multiple color or two color in this text, and therefore what you will do. So you can consider that here is the gradient tool and I will apply the gradient from here, but answer is no, because for applying gradient in text you have to follow the different process. Therefore, you have to use this effects option. So this is our effects option, and from this effects option, once you click here, you will have this gradient overlay option. So let me click this gradient overlay option. Then this pop-up will appear. So for changing the style, you just have to click this gradients, then the same pop-up will appear again. So from this preset, you can pick any color. So as an example, I'm picking the red one, and instead of red, I can pick the green because we just used the red color. And okay, I want to use this one, combination of yellow and green color, and here is the output. So let me show you here that we have the combination of green and yellow color because I used this green yellow preset. And if you want to change the angle, here is the angle wheel. So if you move the pointer in here, then the gradient angle will be changed inside the text. Okay, so this is how you will apply the gradient in text, and let me click OK. And you can see here that our gradient overlay, this gradient effect also added to our text layer. So if you want to turn off the gradient layer, you just have to turn off the gradient overlay. So you can see the gradient is removed from the text, and if you need to add the gradient, you just have to click once again in here, then the gradient will be available to your text. So this is how you will create gradient in your text. So in this lesson, we are going to learn how we will apply the stroke in text, because if you apply the stroke in your text, then your text will look much better than before. And for applying the stroke, it's a very simple process. You just have to select the text layer, and then you have to go for the effects option, and from there you have to click this stroke option. So let me click stroke. Okay, you can see here, once I click the stroke, a dark line is added in here. So let me increase the size of the stroke. You can see here, this is the size option. So for increasing the size, you just have to move the pointer at right side. Okay, I used 10 pixel for stroke. Now you have to select the position. Which position will place the stroke? Right now we have inside stroke. That means the stroke placed inside of the text. But this inside position always not seems better. The outside position is always looks better. And for changing the position, you can click this inside option, then you will have the outside option. So let me select it. And now you can see, now it looks much better than before. So I can reduce the stroke a little. So instead of 10 pixel, I can go for a 7 pixel is good enough. Okay. Then if you need to reduce the opacity level, in that case you can reduce the opacity from here. So right now we have 100% opacity of the stroke, but if you need to reduce the opacity, in that case you can reduce the opacity of stroke. So you can see our text remain the 100% visibility, but stroke opacity is less right now. So applying the stroke for 100%, I'm keeping the opacity for 100%. And the next thing is about the color. So which color will be for using for stroke, you can determine from here. So if you click this color option, then the pop-up will be available in here. So instead of color, instead of black color, which color you want to use, you can use it from here. So as an example, let me pick the red one. Okay, and now let me click OK. So you can see that we have added the stroke to our text using this effects option. So this is how you will apply the stroke to our text. Right now we're going to learn how we will apply the bevel and emboss to the text. So you can see in our last two lessons we added the gradient overlay, we added a stroke, but now we will apply the bevel and emboss to this text. Then it will have a 3D look in here. Okay. So for applying the bevel and emboss, you have to select the text layer, then you have to go for the effects option, and from there you will have this bevel and emboss option. So let me click this bevel and emboss. Okay, you can see once I use the bevel and emboss, you can see here our text style is just changed. Okay, let me reduce all the setup, and what we got our default text. So for applying the bevel and emboss, you have to increase the depth first, then you have to increase the size as well, and after increasing the size, you can have a look, the bevel is applied to our text. Now let me increase the soften, let me increase the depth. Depend on your needs, you can increase or decrease the size of the bevel and emboss. Okay, now it looks much better than before. Okay, then you can see here we got the style. So what will be the style? Will it be inner bevel or outer bevel? So if you click in here, then you will have different type of option like inner bevel, outer bevel, emboss, pillow. So let me select the outer bevel, and here is the output of outer bevel. Here is the output of emboss. Here is the output of pillow emboss. Here is the output of stroke emboss. But you can see that inner bevel seems always good, or instead of inner bevel you can also use the outer bevel, because these two bevel are widely using. So once it's done, you just have to click OK, and now you can see that our text have total 3 effects: gradient, stroke, and bevel and emboss. So let me turn off all these 3 things, and you can see this is our exact text. And let me apply the gradient overlay, stroke, bevel and emboss, and now you can see it seems much better than before. So for stylize your text, you can combine these 3 things for making your attractive text in Adobe Photoshop. Hello everyone, right now we are going to learn about the drop shadow. So sometime you have to place some shadow on your image, and this is what we are going to learn right now about the creating the shadow. So therefore I'm going to create a new file, and I'm picking this default Photoshop size, and I'm clicking create. Okay, so you can see here that our new document is created in here, and I need to add an image from our resource folder. Therefore I'm going to use the place embedded option. So here is the file menu, place embedded option, and you can see inside our resource file you will have this banana image. So you just have to select it and then have to click place. So you can see that our banana image is placed properly, and I'm going to scale properly with my main document size. Okay, so you can see that we got our banana image, and you can see that banana layer is also added. So I need to add a drop shadow for this banana. And let me tell you one thing, because this adding the drop shadow is a little complicated. So if I ask you the question how you will add the drop shadow, so in between of you that you may know the use of Photoshop, you can ask me, or you can answer me the question, yeah, the drop shadow will be added from the effects option. So yes, drop shadow basically added from the effects option, and if you click the effects option, if you click the drop shadow, this is the option for adding the drop shadow, and this is all the settings. So let me increase spread, let me increase opacity, everything I did. But is drop shadow added here? Answer is no, because the technique for adding the drop shadow is different. So I am reducing all the value, and let me click OK. And you can see here the drop shadow layer is added with the main layer, but I don't need this. So you just have to select it, and I'm going to click this delete option. So I have deleted all the images. Let me tell you why these things are not worked. Because when we added the drop shadow is applied for the entire image, but we need to put the drop shadow for the bananas. Therefore we have to make a separation, we have to add a layer mask, then the drop shadow will be applied. So let me add the image once again. Okay, so this is our main image as like before, but I want to make a selection first, because I need to separate this banana from the main image, and therefore I have to use this quick selection tool. This is called the quick selection tool, and make sure that you are using this add to selection option. And let me increase my brush size from here, and now let me make some selection for the bananas. Okay, you can see that this space is also selected, but I don't need to select this area. Therefore, I have to use this subtract from selection, and these holes I need to skip. Okay, so once the selection is done, you have to place your mouse cursor in here, and you will have this add a layer mask option. So let me click add a layer mask, and now you can see we got a different things. And this different things is about we have separated the banana from this image. So let me convert this layer into smart object. Therefore you have to place your mouse cursor in the text, you have to right click, and here is the convert to smart object option. Now let me select this move tool, and now let me move the banana in here. So ultimately what we did, we have separated the image from the main image. Okay, so if you turn off the background layer, you can see you will have the transparent background. Okay, so let me turn on the background layer, and now we will add the drop shadow to this banana. So now we only have the banana in here, and we're going to add the drop shadow to this banana. And therefore now you have to go to the effects option. From there you have to click this drop shadow option, and here is the setup for adding the drop shadow. Now let's customize the drop shadow. At first you have to increase the opacity. Okay, I have increased the opacity, but is anything happened? Answer is no, because we have to increase the size. And now you can see once I increase the size, here is the output is appearing. Now let me increase the spread, and now let me increase the distance. So now you can see that we have the drop shadow for our banana, and we have very strong drop shadow. Therefore I need to reduce the opacity level. So instead of 100%, I'm going to use for 72%, and let me increase the distance a little, and spread I'm going to pick for 16%, and size same 65%. And if you want to change the direction or the angle of the drop shadow, you can change it from here. Right now we have 90 degree, so instead of 90 degree you can go for 25 degree, then the shadow will be placed in here. If you go for 94 degree, minus 94, then the shadow will be placed at top here. But I think 90% is always better, and once it's done you just have to click OK. So now you can see we have successfully created a drop shadow for our banana, and this is the very simple process. So if you want to turn off the drop shadow, what you have to do, you just have to turn off this drop shadow layer. Shadow is gone. And if you want to get it back, you just have to turn it on. Okay, cool. So this is how you will add the drop shadow in an image using effects option, drop shadow. And this is a very simple process for adding the drop shadow. So I'm going to see you in our next lesson. Hello everyone, right now we're going to learn a magical things, and that's called the spot healing. So let's directly jump to our main process. I'm going to open an image from our resource file, and you can see here an image called acne image. So you just have to select it, then you have to click open. Okay, so this is our image, and you can see there are lots of acnes are placed on the skin, and we need to retouch it, we need to fix it, we need to remove all the spots from here. So you can see we have the background layer in here, and I want to unlock this background layer first, and now I want to duplicate the layer so we can compare between before and after effect. So for duplicating layer, you just have to right click with your mouse in the text part, and then you have to click this duplicate layer option. So let me select this duplicate layer option, and here is the pop-up, and I want to write here as the name of my layer, that's a spot. And once it's done, you just have to click OK. So you can see here we got the spot layer in here, and this layer is duplicated from the main layer. So make sure that spot layer is selected, or whatever layer you named. Now for removing the spots from this skin, let me zoom in. You have to use this spot healing brush tool. This is called the spot healing brush tool. So let me select it, and here is the brush size. If you have the small brush, now you can increase or decrease the brush size, and instead of 100% hardness, you can go for 80% hardness. Okay, and I'm going to use 20 pixel for my brush size. And one of the things you have to make sure that you have used this content hour option, because without content hour you will not be able to fix these spots from the skin. So once everything is set it up, then you have to place the spot inside your mouse cursor, and then you have to click once. You can see the magic, the spot is removed. So I am removing all the spots from here. So where is the spot? You just have to use your mouse to remove it. Just you have to place the spot inside the circle, and then you have to remove it. And if you need that your brush size need to be bigger, in that case you can increase the brush size. And you can see all the spots are removing from here. There are lots of spots are in the skin, and we are removing all the major spots from the skin as well. Okay, so you can see the magic. All the spots are removed from here. So if we compare between before and after, then you will realize that how this tools is working magically. Let me turn off the spot layer, and you can see there are lots of spots are available in here. And after using this spot healing brush tool, what is the result we got? We got this amazing result, and this is really outstanding. So this is how you will remove the spot from the skin using Adobe Photoshop spot healing brush tool. Hello dear students, welcome to another lesson, and now we're going to learn about a different tool. This is also a magical tool, and the name of the tool is Content Hour. So let's directly jump to our main point, and I'm going to open an image from our resource file. And you can see that birds in the sky, we got the name, so you just have to select it and then you have to click open. Okay, so you can see here that we have some birds flying in the sky. Suppose you were looking to remove all these birds from this sky. That means you need a clean sky. And you should remove the bird in a way that the bird will be removed from here and the sky will make an adjustment. So there will be no laggings. So therefore, what I have to do at first, I have to use this lasso tool, because I have to make some selections. So I'm selecting this using this lasso tool, and at first let me make a circle for this bird. And now you have to click the edit menu, and from there you will have this Content Hour Fill option. So let me click Content Hour Fill. Okay, you can see here is the preview. Already the bird is removed. So let me click OK. Okay, you can see the magic. Let me deselect the selection. You can see we have the perfect adjustment of the sky, but the bird is removed from here. So this is what I'm looking for. And you can see that we have a different layer is created. So if you turn off this layer, what will happen? That bird will get back to our skies, because with this layer, the Content Hour separated the bird from the main image. Okay, so if you want to remove or disappear another bird from the sky, please make sure that you have selected this background layer and then you have created a circle. Then you have to click this edit menu, Content Hour Fill option. Let me click OK. Let me deselect it. And now you can see the second bird is also removed. And here is the second layer is created. So if you turn off, it will back again. If you turn the first one, both two birds will get back once again. Okay, so let me enable all these things. Now, two birds left. Therefore, I'm selecting the background layer once again. And then I am going to make a circle selection, because this time I will select this two bird, edit menu, Content Hour Fill. Okay. So you can see we got the clear sky. That is what we are looking for. And all the birds are removed. But if you need to get back all the birds, what do you have to do? You just have to turn off all these layers. So this is how you will remove any object from image, and this Content Hour Fill, this option will make an auto adjustment with the background. So this is how you will remove the birds from the sky using Content Hour Fill in Adobe Photoshop. Hello dear students, welcome once again, and now we're going to learn about how you will make the image blur, like enter image blur or face blur. This is really important, and this is what we're going to learn right now. So let's open our exercise file, and from here Let me open an image called this Pixels LXZ. You just have to select it and you have to click open. So you can see there are a number of people are smiling on here. So if you want to make the entire image blur, you have to follow a process, and if you want to make any specific face blur, you have to follow a different process. So let's start with the face blur. Suppose you don't want to show this face in this image, therefore you want to make this face blur. Therefore what you have to do, you have to use this lasso tool, and with the lasso tool, or you can also use this polygonal lasso tool. So which one is comfortable for you, you can use it. So I'm using this polygonal lasso tool, and I'm going to making a selection for this face. Okay, so selection is done. So once you have selected, then you have to go to the filter menu, and from this filter menu you will have this blur option, and from this blur you have to select this Gaussian blur filter. Okay, then this pop-up will appear and you have to increase the radius. This is the value of radius and this is the parameter. So if you know the exact value that is required for making the face blur, you can place the value in here, or you can increase the value. So right now I have 2.6 pixel radius. Now I have 4.4, and you can see it seems a little blurred than before. Now I have 7.8, 12.5, 14.9. Okay, so I just placed 20.8 pixel. And now let me click OK. Let me deselect it. Now you can see everything is transparent, everything is clear, only the face is blurred. So this is very simple process. For making the face blur, you have to make a selection, then you have to use the Gaussian blur, or you can directly use this filter menu, blur filter, Gaussian blur, and from here you can increase the blur level, you can decrease the blur level. So this is a very simple process. Okay, so this is how you will make the image blur in Adobe Photoshop.